Glory. So, welcome to, I think, the fourth part of our little academy, our mini-series on tithing. I hope you're enjoying this. If you've got this far, then well done. How good is that you are so interested in tithing that you have watched, like, almost, it would be coming up to 40 minutes of film now. So well done. We're still looking at reasons why we might want to tithe. And so another reason that we might want to tithe is to invest in our spirituality, our spiritual well-being, okay? So we can invest in lots of ways into our spiritual well-being. Obviously, there are things that we can do, like go for a walk, a pilgrimage, come to church every week, sacrifice our time, all those sorts of things. But obviously, this series is talking about financially giving and investing into your spiritual well-being. So let me first of all say that I have always tithed, okay, since I've been a Christian. One of the reasons for that is, I think, before I was a Christian, Laura used to go to church, and she used to take 20 quid with her every week. And I'd be like, what are you doing that for? That's my dollar. I can't believe you're, like, spending my money down at that church. What are you even doing with it anyway? And then I remember one day she came back and she'd been invited to be part of a dance crew, dance crew in church. Anyway, mate, we want a dance crew here. If you want to be part of a dance crew, then you can do that. I'd totally release you to be a dance crew. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. I remember she was part of this dance crew, and she'd come back saying, "Oh yeah, I was dancing with this fella," and I'm like, hang on a minute, let me get this straight in my head. You're giving 20 quid a week to this church folk, right? Who I've looked on the internet, and these Pentecostals seem a bit weird, and a bit culty, right? And so you're giving 20 quid of my money to these lot every week, and then now you're dancing with some bloke. Like, what's going on? I was like proper angry. Anyway, so you can imagine, like, when your wife's going to some place every week, she's dancing with some guy. In my head, I'm thinking it's dirty dancing, like Patrick Swayze. And so I started doing my research. I'm like, I need to find out who these people are, So it's crazy, isn't it? The sort of thing, like don't go home and tell your husband that you're part of a dance crew in church. You're dancing with some geezer who looks like Patrick Swayze, man. He'll come down and beat up some blokes, Be great. Anyway, so I start researching, and as well as researching things like the Holy Spirit stuff and how we are holy, how the gospel works, all that sort of stuff. One of the things that I found out more about was tithing, and the truth is that that over the years, I've tithed every single week, every single month rather. I think there was 1 month where I didn't. Okay, just 1 month in 12 years where I haven't paid a full tithe or more. And that month, I went out and spent £100 on Bibles to give to people who weren't Christians. And I felt really bad for it. I felt like really guilty for it. So the next month I gave extra to church, you know what I mean? But how weird is that, you know what I mean? But anyway, I guess I'm a really responsible and committed person in that respect. I'm really loyal. But over the years, I've been constantly giving to the church, and it's each church that I've been to. So whether I believe in their vision or not. So in the last session, we talked about one of the reasons you might like to tithe is because you really believe in the vision. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. Okay, and that's one way that I know that someone is really on board with us if they start paying their tithe. However, even in churches where I've not particularly believed in the vision, or I've not particularly believed that my money's being used particularly well or anything like that, I've still given to God because I'm committed to Him. Okay, so how does this affect my spirituality? What it does is it's me saying, despite my own hang-ups, I'm going to remain committed to Him, to God, and so I carry on faithfully tithing because it builds faithfulness into my character. That's wonderful, isn't it? Like, sink in for a second. That's so good. Oh wow! If only I'd have known that before. I faithfully keep giving to God even if I don't particularly like the pastor, or even if I don't particularly like what they're doing with the money, even if I don't particularly like the church, like just because I've been asked to go to that church, so first year Bible college, a little church called Sycamore Chapel, did no evangelism. They didn't even open their front doors. They wouldn't let people in. It's so funny. Totally not what I'd like normally get involved in. But out of my commitment to God, I gave my tithe and I purchased loads of extra stuff for church on top. Like lighting and some nice air fresheners, and I painted the toilets and stuff like that. Like I paid my tithe and then I did all that stuff on top. And I was committed to Jesus, and I was faithful to him, even though the church wasn't particularly my style, if that makes sense. And then in my second year, I went to a massive church where my tithe wouldn't have, no one would have even cared about it. Certainly no one asked about it. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't have, no one would have even noticed it because there was so much money going through the place. Like 300 people in the church. So my tithe was basically not really of use, but I weren't giving because I thought my money could be useful. I was giving because I love God and I want to be faithful to him. And so in giving in that way, I was investing into my own character, my own spirituality. Other ways in which I've got involved in this sort of stuff before, and I've given, and ways in which you might want to give as well, is to invest in your spirituality. Maybe you might want to go to like a Christian conference. So one of the ways that we do this every year is Urban Wave. It's a small way of investing into your own spirituality, your own character, to invest in Urban Wave. Because you know what happens? Everyone goes to Urban Wave, and it is a lovely, fun holiday, and everyone is a great community. It's a wonderful place to be. But that's not the best thing about it. One of the greatest things that I see about Urban Wave is that when people go to it, it's almost like they think, I should behave like a Christian whilst I'm here. And then life is really good for the week. And it's not as dramatic and it's not as crazy, well, for some people anyway. There's still sometimes a little bit of upheaval at Urban Wave. But anyway, like for the majority of people, their life becomes a little bit easier at Urban Wave because they're trying to us to act like a Christian. And then afterwards, I think it sort of sinks in a little bit. When I behave like a Christian, life's a little bit easier. And so just being there for the week is like an investment in your own character and personal spiritual walk, And so, like we can give financially in that way. I've been to conferences before where I've paid lots and lots of money. I think the biggest conference I ever went to, well, it wasn't the biggest as in like most people, but the most I ever spent on a conference where I was trying to invest in my spiritual journey, I think was £800 to spend a week with some great evangelists and stuff in London, like heroes of the faith, And I spent £800 on going to this conference to learn and to be changed and equipped and stuff. Have you thought about how you invest into your spiritual journey? I think longevity and character and stuff like that that's tithing helps with that sort of stuff. But then on the odd occasion, you want to buy a Christian book or Christian DVD, and to invest in your spiritual journey in that way and into your character, because if we're going to grow, and we want to grow, don't we? We really do want to grow into maybe a nicer person, a more godly person. Maybe we want to grow in the power of God and the Spirit of God. Maybe we want to get closer to Him. And if you want to do that, then sometimes it takes a bit of investment. Tithing is an ongoing investment over a long period of time. And I want to invite you, if you'd like to do that, then keep on watching. We'll try and explain how to do that pretty soon, I promise. I think I've got 2 more of these videos to do, so maybe the next one I might talk about how. Glory. I'll see you then.